Hello, Fiber. How are you doing? It's your girl, Esther Joy, and currently we are just kind of chilling. We're just allowing ourselves to be. I wanted to take a moment to talk about divine timing. So you are here when you should be. It is the right time. The time is now, and let's talk about this. First off, I'm under a tree. Now this is a dead branch, but this tree has many berries. I think they're like some kind of dogwood berry. The birds definitely have been eating and moving everywhere. It's fine. It's dry now. Moving on. Divine timing is a really interesting thing because you never know when it's going to remind you that you're in the right timeline. I think in this live I wanted to kind of explore the whole idea of timelines, the whole idea of synchronicities, and just trusting in God to be where you should be and trusting that you are where you should be. And this is the moment now. So let's start off by just taking a breath to really absorb this moment right now. I just noticed that, I didn't really even realize how all of the trees I'm looking at, all of them have leaves on them now. And they didn't always have leaves on them. There was a season where there were no leaves on them. There was a season where they were beautifully colored. And, there was a season where they were all blossoming. What's up, Deshaun? Much love, man. And now we see that we're in the season where the plants all have leaves on them over here. And I think divine timing is very much like the leaves and the seasons of the trees, and how we see the trees know exactly when the season comes for them to release. And so it goes. And so quite simply, we are like that, except I guess humans are a little bit more complex in the way that we are moving beings, and we worry about things like taxes and relationships and death, stuff like that. So I guess in a way that can complicate our mind around the idea of time. But time is really simple. In every single moment, we are flowing through this concept of time by moving the space we are in. Hello, meditative Jews. Much love. I'm just kind of chilling, watching my garden growing. I just finished planting some tomatoes, some beets, and some carrots. And just letting the sprinkler do its thing and water every day. And, perfect time to talk to you guys about divine timing and synchronicities. Because, you know what? It's beautiful. Plants know the time, and so do we, even though there can be distractions sometimes. When we disconnect our mind from our body. When we are mentally somewhere else, but we're chilling here. And so we don't realize that time is going with the physical body that we're in, because to be honest, I think that time is more of a physical thing. The physical world helps show time. I was gonna say it looks like I'm gardening. Yes, it's gardening. You already know it. The vibes. And now we're dropping seeds of knowledge and wisdom, sprinkling those beautiful, right? We're grounding ourselves. So, physical reality has a timeline. It has a way to organize and structure itself. And so, the concept of time is the space in which space moves. That's kind of how I see it, just like the sands of time, one of the oldest known timers, just literal sand dropping a collected amount of sand for that amount of time. Or the sun, moving from our perspective around the earth. This is physical matter shifting space. And that, I'm not going to get into physics, right? Well, who am I? I'm not a physicist. I'm just a human observing time. So what does this have to do about divine timing? Because I do feel like there are times where we feel like what we're doing is not divine. And maybe it's not. Maybe we're forcing it. Maybe we really want something to happen. Like, let's say a certain sum of money, right? We want $1 million for whatever, God knows why. All right, we want $1 million. We're like, all right, I'm gonna do all this stuff. Where's my money at? And we're trying to like push reality into this idea, this concept of how we think that it should go. And it doesn't always go that way. Because sometimes there are physical things that block that thing that you want to physically show up, because it's just not time. It's not time. Only God knows the time and the place, okay? And period. Don't worry about it. Just like if you knew exactly when you were gonna die, I think mentally that would be like crazy. And I don't know, I would psych myself out. I'd be like, the hour is nigh. Or maybe, I'm not gonna go too far into that rabbit hole right now, but divine timing is always happening. You are always in the right moment. There is a difference between knowing that every single moment is as it should be and thinking that you have to force something. And I'll give a short example from my own life. I felt very behind in my life. I felt like, I had these big dreams and goals, and where I was not lining up with what I had in my mind. Because again, your mind is not connected to this physical reality and conception of time. It transcends time, your mind. But back on track, I mentally had this amazing manifestation in my mind, and I was like, it's a coming, but it's not here. And I started feeling really behind in life. I started feeling bad for where I was in the world that wasn't where I wanted to be. And I had to realize that, oh wow, actually there's a reason I'm here and not there. There's things that I need to learn, and there are things that I had in that timeline that I don't have now, because as time goes, space changes, and it shifts. It changes to something new. Energy cannot be destroyed or created. It just changes and shifts. And so I think that's one thing that I realized, that the perfect time is always now. Divine timing is always happening. Don't try to force your timeline, especially if in your heart that's not where it's supposed to be right now. So yeah, I felt really behind for a very long time. I was confused as to why. Good to see you too. What's up? I was confused as to why I was experiencing what I was experiencing for a long time. I mean, not that pun intended, right? Okay, time. But then I realized, okay, actually I'm supposed to be here. There is a reason. And all of a sudden, when I started accepting that this is the perfect time and this moment is so priceless and it's never going to come back, and I will never be experiencing this physical reality again as it is right now in this moment ever again. It is irreplaceable. It is so beautifully unique in its experience, and it is something I will never get once it's gone. Look at that little bunny right there. Little bunny. So experience it, be present with it, because this is divine time. The more that you accept that your timeline is divine, meaning that everything is perfectly orchestrated, that there was a creator that made you and made everything. However everything came into life, it came into life, and it has life, and it has a purpose. Because all of life has a purpose, and I think that's what allows it to thrive, because it wants to be alive. And you can allow yourself to be present with this understanding and really kind of marinate it and sink into it and sink into that in this moment right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking about. Bring your presence and your mind into this moment, into your body. It's supposed to be here. You're supposed to be feeling these sensations. is that your being is feeling and experiencing, and it's only for you. And it was divinely orchestrated just for you so that you could experience it. No other soul on this planet has ever and will ever experience what you are experiencing right now. That's pretty cool. That is kind of a blessing. Like, that's fun. That's yay. You know, that is the blessing that we get to experience and that we get to see in every moment. So when it comes to synchronicities, I think sometimes people read into them a lot, or selective attention. We pick up on things, and I'm not saying like, oh, that's fake or something, because honestly, selective attention is a real thing. You know, we choose what we pay attention to. There's so much going on, and so many cessations happening at a rate that, like, we just can't, our human mind and body just cannot comprehend all of it. So we choose. Like right now, there are bunnies jumping around, and they're probably focusing very much on probably the relationship between the two of them and the speed in which they're jumping and the jumps. Like, you know, there's not much else that you focus on when you're in that moment, and that's okay. But yeah, that's kind of how synchronicity works in my perspective, if you, or my selective attention, is that you pay attention to two things happening in your timeline at the same time. And sometimes it's a divine reminder that, hey, yeah, you're paying attention to the right thing, you're on the right timeline, keep going. You know, I'm sure there are certain symbols that maybe have a significance to you, a unique reason for being the way that they are. And again, that's like the amazing part of being in a divine timeline. Just being present with where you are in your life. It's so beautiful. I think, you know, the more that we allow ourselves to be present with the world that we are living in, you know, that is the experience that we are currently dwelling in, the more that we will see the divinity of it all, the perfectness of it all, how amazing it all connects, and that we can allow ourselves to rest. I think that for me, a lot of the times my mind will go to a future timeline and it will start worrying. And I was talking to my friend today, and they were like, why are you worrying, man? Like, what's going on? You know, why do you always seem to worry whenever you think about the future? And, you know, I thought, wow, that's like, thank you for bringing that up, because I didn't even notice that every time I'm not in the present moment, I think about the future, and I think about the worst case scenario, when in reality, that, like, the future is never going to be here. There's only going to be this moment right now. And whatever I focus on, I attract, and it grows, because that is what I'm bringing into my present mind, and what I'm calling into my reality to perceive with my selective attention. So, I don't know, I'm allowing myself to be more present with time. I think that the times where I am just so utterly present with whatever is happening in my life, be it good or bad, the more memorable it is, the more thankful I am for being alive again, just because I get this experience. And then, crazy enough, it's as if God, source, oneness, universe, the creator just is like, hey man, I just want to give you this reminder that I'm always here with you. The present is a gift. It really is. Like, it is so beautiful. So let's take a few moments to just be present right here, wherever you are. A mix of happiness for the present moment, of how wonderful it is to look at the clouds and the leaves on the trees and listen to the birds, talk to you. And I also feel a little bit of sadness, because I know that each moment is irreplaceable. much at peace, thankful for the moments, and just present with them. Sometimes it can be hard to remember that there's only this present moment. There's this illusion of what is in your mind is real, and it is a factor in creating your reality for sure, but it is only as big as you make it. And the best thing you can do, I think, for any sickness, any ailment, or any worry is to bring yourself into the present moment, because you draw away the energy from that situation or dis-ease, and you bring it into this moment where it can just fully and utterly be as it is. You're not holding on and trying to kill it, and in exchange it's trying to kill you. It's just unfolding naturally, and you give it the opportunity to be seen in its entirety. And sometimes I think that's all what we want, you know? That's all that we want, and that's all we need. Be Real just went off. Be Real is a really interesting application because of how they're, you know, using the timelines. But before I go off on a rant about that, yes, Deshaun, it is a neutralizing energy to be present. When we are no longer in the past with our traumas and memories, and we're no longer fretting about the future based off of our traumas and memories, but we're present with this moment here, which has no label. There's no tag to describe it because it is so incomprehensible if we're really present with this moment right now and the entirety of what this moment is, from the grass that is growing right now slowly, along with the animals that are giving birth, along with the stars in the sky that are exploding. This is all happening in this moment right now. And right now we get to experience a beautiful perspective of that with our bodies. That's kind of cool. It's kind of fun, you know? So never feel like you have to force divine timing or synchronicities, because you already are in the perfect timeline. Especially if you are here, let this be a reminder that you are exactly where you need to be, my friend. You are on your way to where you need to go, and you do not need to rush. You do not need to worry. You will get there in divine timing. That is a beautiful thing. There's a Bible verse. I don't remember the exact, you know, where it is, the exact book it's in, but, you know, it goes something like, a diligent man wanteth nothing, but a haughty man is always in need. And, you know, if you are diligent, then you are aware of how to use every moment that you get. You are not trying to rush like a haughty man. You are not trying to make something happen, to speed up the process, you know, to the fastest way to get rich, or, you know, be famous, or, I don't know, get whatever it is that you are desiring in your heart. But even like, I don't know, go to work on time or whatever. But when you are just present with yourself, when you're just allowing yourself to just be present with it, it's like you exactly know how to use everything in your reality because you are aware of it. And it is aware of you, and it will lend itself to you, and you'll be able to utilize that. So, yeah, you know, that's really what I wanted to share in this live. I just wanted to remind you that divine timing is a wonderful thing, that, my friend, you are here to do exactly what you're doing in this moment. You are a human being, not a human doing. You know how it goes, so just be, and allow yourself to be present. I was going to say something about how valuable it is to honor your time. It is sacred. together. I really do hope that you take some time to just explore yourself and the creation that you are and the way that you sense and perceive things and how even your mind works with this present moment. How can you integrate that present moment with mind? All right, go explore that. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Much love. Namaste. God bless.